verse. Dios, Él siempre vencerá. Hay gozo en la casa de Dios, hay gozo en la casa de mi Señor. No puedo callarlo, declaro tu poder. Hay gozo en la casa de Dios y su presencia está aquí. No puedo callarlo, declaro tu poder. Oh, 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 declaro tu poder. Cantamos a Dios que sana, cantamos a Dios que salva, cantamos al que caminos abrirá. Porque se entregó a la cruz, de la tumba Él salió, mi Dios cada piedra moverá. Hay gozo en la casa de Dios, hay gozo en la casa de mi Señor. No puedo callarlo, declaro tu poder. Hay gozo en la casa de Dios y su presencia está aquí. No puedo callarlo, declaro tu poder. Estaba perdida, ahora realeza soy. Era una esclava, ahora libre soy. Redimida por gracia me diste perdón. Que en la casa del Señor hoy cante. Está perdida, ahora realeza soy. Era una esclava, ahora libre soy. Redimido por gracia me diste perdón. Que la fue consumada su obra en la cruz, hecho está, ha vencido, Él ganó, Yes. I don't hear Isaac at all. I don't hear any stems. I'm so sorry to bother. I don't hear any stems. And then I think, if anything, just put me down. And I don't know, you said that our phone was maxed out, but I hear no Isaac. And the pack's already at 9 o'clock. Okay.
Test 1, 2, test.
Yeah, that's much better.
Test 1, 2.
Thank you.
Cool.
Oh, jeez.
Bienvenidos, iglesia, y vamos a ponernos de pies en esta mañana. Vamos a cantar a nuestro Señor. Vamos a cantar una canción nueva que dice que el gozo del Señor está presente en este lugar. Vamos a cantar juntos. Cuando hay dudas que quieran robar tu verdad y me dicen que no adore más, agradeceré. Te agradeceré. Cuando a vos el miedo me quiere vencer, la esperanza me quiere robar, agradeceré. Te agradeceré. Con canto de júbilo salgo a pelear, el gozo es mi arma, en el firme estar, con manos alzadas al cielo yo creeré. Me gozaré, me gozaré, danzaré en tu bondad, creeré en tu sí, amén. Me gozaré, yo proclamo tu gracia por siempre y siempre, amén. Cuando el tiempo se acaba y no queda más, la esperanza en tu nombre está, te exaltaré, oh, te exaltaré. De júbilo salgo a pelear, el gozo es mi alma, en el firme está, con manos alzadas al cielo yo creeré. Me gozaré, me gozaré, danzaré en tu bondad, creeré en tu sí, amén. Me gozaré, yo proclamo tu gracia por siempre y siempre, amén. El gozo de Dios, su gozo es mi fortaleza. No te detendré, no me detendré, nada detendrá mi fe. El gozo de Dios, su gozo es mi fortaleza. No me detendré, no me detendré, nada detendrá mi fe. Me gozaré, danzaré en tu bondad, creeré en tu sí, amén. Me gozaré,
gozaré. Yo proclamo tu gracia por siempre y siempre. Amén. Yo proclamo tu gracia por siempre y siempre. Amén. Yo proclamo tu gracia por siempre y siempre. Amén. Que me decían, a la casa de Jehová iremos. Adoramos a Dios que fue, adoramos a Dios que es, adoramos a Dios que nunca cambiará. Al cautivo liberó, las aguas partió en dos. Mi Dios, Él siempre vencerá. Hay gozo en la casa de Dios, hay gozo en la casa de mi Señor. No puedo callarlo, declaro tu poder. Hay gozo en la casa de Dios y su presencia está aquí. No puedo callarlo, declaro tu poder. Cantamos al que caminos abrirá, porque se entregó a la cruz, de la tumba Él salió, mi Dios cada pierna moverá. Hay gozo en la casa de Dios, hay gozo en la casa de mi Señor, no puedo callarlo, declaro tu poder. En la casa de Dios y su presencia está aquí. No puedo callarlo, declaro tu poder. Estaba perdida, ahora realeza soy. Era una esclava, ahora libre soy. Redimida por gracia me diste perdón, que la casa del Señor hoy cante. Oh, estaba perdido, ahora realeza soy. Era un esclavo, ahora libre soy. Redimido por gracia me diste perdón, que la casa del Señor hoy cante. En la casa de Dios, hay gozo en la casa de mi Señor, no puedo callarlo, declaro tu poder. Hay gozo en la casa de Dios y su presencia está aquí, no puedo callarlo, declaro tu poder. Hay gozo en la casa de Dios, hay gozo en la casa de mi Señor, no puedo callarlo, declaro tu poder. Hay gozo en la casa de Dios y su presencia está aquí. No puedo callarlo, declaro tu poder. Oh,
cruz es mi comienzo, mi firme convicción. El fin de mi batalla, soy nuevo otra vez. Jesús fue castigado, tomando mi lugar. Su gracia me ha salvado, fue consumada su obra en la cruz. Hecho está, ha vencido, Él ganó, está vivo, gracias que a la muerte derrotó por siempre.
Gloria a Dios, ¿verdad que nuestro Dios ha vencido? Nuestro Dios no está en la tumba, Él resucitó y es la razón por la cual venimos a alabarle y darle la gloria y la honra a Él. ¿Cuántos dicen amén conmigo? Amén, gloria a Dios. Pueden tomar asiento ahí donde están. Hola y bienvenido a Christ Fellowship en español. Y bueno, si ya no me conocen, mi nombre es Gustavo, sirvo como uno de los líderes aquí en Palmetto Bay y le queremos dar la bienvenida a todos, pero especialmente a aquellos que nos están visitando por primera vez. Le queremos dar la cordial bienvenida y queremos conectarnos contigo, y la mejor manera de hacerlo es llenando una tarjeta de conexión, la cual lo puedes hacer ahora mismo. Puedes abrir su cámara de su celular y apuntándolo en el código que aparece en pantalla o en la silla de al frente, y también enviándonos un texto con la palabra CF Miami al 313131. Y luego no se olvide de pasar por la mesa de los próximos pasos para darle un regalito por ser nuestro invitado especial en el día de hoy. Y bueno, saben que dicen que 90% de los estudiantes en las escuelas públicas no conocen a Dios, y es por eso, por esa cifra, que nosotros queremos y debemos de llevar el evangelio a las escuelas, y por eso que nos asociamos con ministerios como First Priority. Ellos es una organización la cual llevan a las escuelas a poder orar, adorar y aprender la palabra de Dios. First Priority ha podido llegar a 116 escuelas en toda nuestra área, y han habido vidas transformadas como la de Luis Valentín. Él empezó a ir a First Priority, las reuniones de First Priority en su 9º grado, y le encantó y quiso formarse parte de First Priority, y ha estado asistiendo y procesando unos eventos en él mismo, la cual pudieron ver muchos estudiantes, maestros e incluso los directores llegar a esas reuniones. Y él mismo se pregunta cómo Dios ha podido usar a una persona tan insignificante como él, pero gloria a Dios que lo sigue usando y ha transformado su vida, y ahora es un director de los CF Students en nuestra sede de West Kendall. Gloria al Señor. Y todo esto es gracias a su generosidad. Su generosidad nos ayuda a apoyar a ministerios como First Priority. Así que si no has dado antes, le animamos a que tome un paso de fe para que puedas dar y apoyar y ayudar a las personas a seguir a Jesús. Lo puedes hacer en los buzones que tenemos en la parte de atrás, o pueden también abrir su cámara de su celular y apuntando en el código que aparece en pantalla o en la silla del frente, y enviándonos un texto con la palabra CF dar al 313131. Muchas gracias por su generosidad para poder impactar las vidas de los dos jóvenes y muchos otros ministerios que nosotros apoyamos. Vamos a orar. Sí, Señor. Sí, amén. Sí, Padre Santo, gloria sea tu nombre, Señor, en el nombre de Jesús. Amén. Video que podemos ver las relaciones del antiguo tiempo de la Biblia, y es por eso que es verdad que nosotros en nuestras vidas podemos tener luchas en nuestras relaciones personales, sea con nuestros amigos, en nuestros matrimonios, incluso con nuestros hijos. Y es por eso que la semana que viene vamos a empezar una nueva serie aprendiendo de las antiguas relaciones para tener relaciones saludables en el presente. Así que no se olvida de invitar y venir al nuevo serie que vamos a estar empezando la próxima semana. Qué bonito esta serie. Entonces vamos a ponernos en pie, a seguir adorando a nuestro Señor Jesucristo, alabándole en el nombre del Señor Jesús. Amén.
Señor, te damos gracias por lo que tú has hecho por nosotros. Señor. Te hemos visto obrar, Dios de maravillas. Tu poder no tiene fin. Lo que has hecho ya en mayor medida, lo volverás a hacer. No hay montaña que no puedas mover, o muros por romper, todo es posible en ti. No hay persona que no pueda salvar, o cuerpos levantar, todo es posible en ti. La oscuridad iluminarás, Dios te avivamiento. Tú eres quien la muerte derrotó. No hay más temor, Dios te avivamiento. En el trono ahora estás por siempre y siempre, sentado en majestad. ¿Por qué debo temer si ya venciste? Solo en ti confiaré. No hay montaña que no puedas mover, o muros por romper, todo es posible en ti. No hay persona que no pueda salvar, o cuerpos levantar, todo es posible en ti. La
1970s, two Christian social psychologists performed a social experiment. They gathered together their Princeton seminary students and asked them to preach a sermon on the parable of the Good Samaritan. Remember that story? That's the story of the wounded man on the side of the road, and all the religious people, the priests, the Levites, just walked past him. So these seminary students were about to preach a sermon about a wounded man who had been ignored by religious people and people that they will be crossing the building on campus. Just before they leave, they are told of one of two things. One group of students are told they need to hurry up because they are late and they have to hurry to preach this message. So they head over to the building and they had to run because they were running late. Now the other group of students is told they can head over there, but they have some time, so take their time. In other words, one group of students were in a hurry while the other group was not in a hurry. On their way across campus to preach a sermon about a wounded man on the side of the road who was ignored by the religious people, the seminary students are told to pass down the alleyway where they met with someone who was an actor pretending to be, you guessed it, a wounded man, crying for help, asking for help, but to these seminary students to help them. Now, here's what the study showed, that most of the students who were not in a hurry stopped to help the wounded man, about 63% of them. But almost none of them, just 10% of the students who were in a hurry stopped and helped the man. A person not in a hurry, this is their conclusion, will probably stop to offer help to a person in distress. But to a person in a hurry, they're likely to keep going. See, thinking about the Good Samaritan did not increase behavior, but being in a hurry certainly decreased it. See, hurry kills compassion. Dallas Willard's quote, he says this, "Hurry is the great enemy of our spiritual day. You must ruthlessly eliminate hurry in your life." There once lived a water carrier in India, and he stood two large pots for his task. He suspended a pole across his neck and attached a pot to each end of the pole. One of the pots had a big crack in it, while the other pot was just perfect. Well, the perfect pot always delivered full portions of water from the stream to the master's house, while the cracked pot arrived only half full each day. For 2 years, the water carrier made the same journey. The perfect pot became proud of its accomplishments, and the cracked pot was ashamed of its imperfections and is miserable that he could not accomplish and only was able to do half of what has been made and created to do. Is Lauren here? She will be? Okay. Hopefully she has that phone. For 2 years, this water carrier made the same journey. Accomplished it. Finally, one day, by the stream, so this is where it's going to be at, right? Okay. Continue to speak. Okay. For 2 years, the water carrier made the same journey. The perfect pot became proud of its accomplishment, while the pot with a cracked side was ashamed of its imperfections and miserable that it was unable to accomplish what he was made to do. Well, then finally, one day by the stream, the cracked pot spoke. Does that sound weird when I say cracked pot?
A little bit.
A pot with a crack on its side.
Cracked?
Cracked. I gotta enunciate. The cracked
Like
pot.
emphasize the T. There's no T there, but
Cracked. Okay. Spoke to his owner about his bitter failure. I'm ashamed of myself. And I want to apologize that I have not been able to deliver half of what the water that you carry to your house. There's a crack in my side which causes water to leak out. And because of my flaw, you don't get the full value of your efforts. Then the water carrier replied, smiling, as we returned to the master's house, I want you to notice something. Did you notice that there are flowers on your side of the path, but not on the other side of the pot's side? The carrier commented, that is because I've always known about your flaw. And I took advantage of it, and I planted seeds on the side of your path, and every day while we passed these spots, you watered them. Now for 2 years, I have been able to pick up some beautiful flowers to decorate my master's table. Without you being just the way that you are, I would not have the beauty to grace his house.
Let's go with your first verse.
First verse,
We're going to start with his first verse.
2 Kings, 2 Kings 7, verse 9. There, Then they said to one another, we are not doing right. This day is a day of good news. If we are silent and wait until morning light, punishment will overtake us. Now therefore, come, let us go to tell the king's household. Yeah, that's it. Okay? And then I'll go to my opening story. First thing that we need to realize the bad news. Okay? Realize the bad news. Okay. Let me give you some context to the story here. See, it was the bad news for the people of Samaria. Let's go back into chapter 6, verse 24. Afterwards, Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, mustered his entire army and went up and besieged Samaria. Then I'm going to talk a little bit and explain what that means. Then verse 25, and there was a great famine in Samaria as they besieged it, until a donkey's head was sold for 80 shekels of silver, and a fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 shekels of silver. And then I'm going to go to, I'm going to talk about that, and then slide A, we don't care enough, we don't care enough. And then Mark chapter 6, verse 34. When he went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. Okay? And then it goes all the way to point B.
Oh, did
We are distracted.
Huh? Bolded for you? Go back?
Yes.
Okay.
It was in caps. It wasn't bolded, but I think that's good. Yeah.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Perfect.
We are distracted. Seminary students. And then I'm going to quote Dallas Willard. Hurry is the great enemy of our spiritual life in our day.
For this quote
You
right
must
here,
ruthlessly limit hurry.
just remember that when you're doing this quote, being on this side of the table is the best spot right here. Okay?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to move too much. I mean, for this quote, yeah,
For
I'm
quotes
just,
or any kind of graphics that come up. Yeah, just keep him for a stream test though, okay? Just keep him so we can continue to stream out to West Kendall. Cool.
okay.
Yeah, so for any graphics that go on the LED wall, if we need to,
1:2. Hurry is the great enemy of spiritual life in our day. We must ruthlessly eliminate hurry in our life. Point number 2, we need to realize the power. So when it comes to evangelism and sharing our faith, fear is one of the most crippling things. Because we fear, we doubt God's promises. Because we fear, we doubt God's power to save and be used by him. So a couple of things that we fear. Put this down. Letter A is we are afraid of rejection. We are afraid of rejection. Then I'm going to talk about, feel like we're offended. And then you have to reframe your fears. This is exactly what these unlikely characters did in the story. Let's jump back to chapter 7, verse 3. Now, there was 4 men who were lepers in the entrance gate, and they said to one another, "Why sit here until we die? If we say, 'Let us enter the city,' then famine in the city, and we shall die there. And if we, hey Lauren, and if we sit here, we die also. So now come, let us go over to the camp of the Syrians. If they spare us our lives, we shall live, and if they kill us, we shall die." Just imagine the scene. I'll kind of map out the scene, and then I'll jump back to verse 5, which is, so they arose at twilight.
Rach, did you finish reading this verse?
Huh? Yes.
But did you finish reading through this verse?
So I'm at I finished verse 4, and they will kill us, and we shall die.
Is that reference correct?
Which one? So they arose at twilight. Yes, but verse 5 is so they arose. I'm breaking verse 4 and verse 5 just to talk a little bit.
Is it supposed to be 2 Kings 7-3-?
No. It should be 7:3 to 4, and then 5 to 7.
Okay, we'll make sure of that. Okay, go ahead and load up the next one, which should be 5.
Yeah. So actually, it's right there. It's like it should be separated. So they arose at twilight to go to the camp of Syria.
So we're gonna separate 5 after this, but we'll
Okay.
take it from 5.
Okay. And then I'll take it from verse 5. So they rose at twilight to go to the camp of the Syrians. But when they came to the edge of the camp of the Syrians, behold, there was no one there, for the Lord had made the army of the Syrians hear the sound of chariots and horses and the sound of a great army, so that they said to one another, "Behold, the king of Israel has hired against us the kings of the Hittites and the kings of Egypt to come against us." And so they fled away in the twilight and abandoned their tents, their horses, and their donkeys, leaving the camp as it was, and fled for their lives. Yep. And then letter B is that we are afraid we don't have what it takes. Yep. And then Acts 4:13. Now, when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were uneducated and untrained men, they marveled, and they realized that they had been with Jesus. Yeah, been with Jesus.
What slide number is this?
Hmm?
Okay, let's keep going.
Been with Jesus. Okay, so this is the part where I'll say, for Peter and John, they were labeled uneducated, untrained. Can I just, okay, so how do you want me to navigate through this one? Now, I could interact with it and just go here. Would that work? Like if the blue line here. Like that?
So if you're talking to it,
And I can see it through there.
As long as you don't turn your full back towards me, that'd be okay.
So how should I do it?
Just try to keep your chest open towards the camera. So uneducated, untrained. In that time, try to also engage back with the camera.
Okay. And I'll cue this. Huh?
You want to go through that?
Yeah, I'll go through it. Let's do through it.
And then he's
Acts 4, verse 13. Now, when they had saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were uneducated, and listen to this, untrained men, they marveled and they realized that they had been with Jesus. I mean, can I tell you, there are so many other words that unwords that we can use. In fact, I have a few on the screen right here. There's uneducated, there's untrained, unqualified, unattractive, unsophisticated, uninteresting, unforgiven, and unworthy. Yeah.
That would be perfect. If you can keep it at that timing, as soon as you say that last word, we're going to take it down. Okay?
Yes, and I'll move back to the center here.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weakness, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. So, and then after I read that verse, I'm going to go to this. There's a story I heard one time, and then you tell me how I need to be this way. Yeah, I don't know what the actual title of the slide, I just put slide there. So I'll be reading it, so it should be the same. And so if you can just queue up right before I say, there once lived a water carrier in India. Oh, that's cool. In India, he used large pots for his task. He suspended a pole across his neck and attached a pot at each end of the pole. One of the pots had a big crack in it, while the other pot was perfect. The perfect pot always delivered a full portion of water from the stream to the master's house, while the cracked pot arrived only half full each day. For 2 years, the water carrier made the same journey. The perfect pot became proud of his accomplishments. The cracked pot was ashamed of its imperfections and was miserable that it was unable to accomplish what he has been made to do. Finally, one day, by the stream, the cracked pot spoke to his owner about his bitter failure. I am ashamed of myself, and I want to apologize. I have only been able to deliver half of my water to your house. There is a crack in my side which causes water to leak out. Because of my flaw, you don't get full value of your efforts. Then the water carrier replied, smiling, as we return to the master's house, I want you to notice the beautiful flowers along your path. On the trip from the stream, the cracked pot looked around. Did you notice that there are flowers on your side of the path, but not on the other pot's side? The carrier commented. That is because I have always known about your flaw, and I took advantage of it. I planted a seed on your side of the path, and every day while you passed these pots, you watered them. Now for 2 years, I've been able to pick those beautiful flowers to decorate my master's tables. Without you being just the way you are, I would not have the beauty to grace his house. Right?
Let's do something really quickly. Go ahead and stand in that blue spot right there, man. And we're going to roll through all those.
Would this be the right spot when I read this?
I want to see how it's going to work.
Okay. I'll just go straight through it. There once lived a water carrier in India who used 2 large pots for his task. He suspended a pole across his neck and attached a pot at each end of the pole. One of the pots had a big crack on his side, while the other pot was perfect. The perfect pot always delivered.
Sorry to cut you off. So for that story, if you stand right there on that blue spot the entire time, that's really the best framing we have. While all your
Slides okay.
coming up and you're not covering anything. The one that you were covering when you were standing right here was when you were walking with both of them.
Got it. Okay.
Watering the sides. But from that spot right there, you're good, okay?
Okay. And then Romans 1, verse 16, for I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God unto salvation for those who believe. And then point 3, realize the good news. Realize the good news. 2 Kings 8:9. And these lepers came to the edge of the camp, and when they went into the tent after and drank, they carried off silver and gold, clothing, and went and hid them. And they came back and entered another tent and carried off things from it and went and hid them. And then they said to one another, "We are not doing right. This is a day of good news. If we are silent and wait until the morning light, punishment will overtake us. And therefore now let us go and tell the king's household." So I just realized this is added. Is this a way can we put this verse? It's in the notes there. I realized that I was in the bottom. I didn't bring it up.
Sorry, you want, what was it now?
This verse.
You want this verse to be,
Right before A, make your faith public.
so Rach, the Romans 10:13 verse through 15? No, it's right. Oh, we don't have it. You don't have any verses before slide A, make your faith public? Okay, so we got to add this verse. When we add this verse, what did you want?
So for this one, it's 3 to 15. Just make one slide for if anyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved, and another slide.
So break up 13 from 14 to 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then letter A, make your faith public. And here's the part where we put the pictures. I haven't seen it yet, but the pictures of all the collateral. Okay, so where do I stand for this one? Or does it matter?
Right here is fine.
Here? Okay. Okay. And then letter B, share your story. And then this, I think there's a slide where our website, yeah, there you go, tell others. Yeah. And then the last one is share the gospel.
Okay. So I'm going to have the keys player come up during slide A,
Yeah.
and then he'll start playing when you go to slide C.
Yeah. That's going to be quick. I'll just say, share the gospel. But the ideal is that when we go to this closing story, drown out the cries. I think there's 2 slides.
Yeah, there are. You got 2 more slides there? Perfect.
And it's a picture of Jews going to trains. So that picture prior to it, Rachel, is what I'll be talking about, where they loaded Jews into trains, and then the other one is leading up to the concentration camps. There were trains that were to the concentration camp in Auschwitz. So,
Sorry, say that one more time.
yeah. So, I'm going to tell a story of Erwin Lutzer in his book Hitler's Cross. He talked about there was a church that was situated by railroad tracks, and they would hear Jews who were loading into the docks. The train carts. So that would be that picture. And then where they were headed to was Auschwitz, in the concentration camps.
Cool. You good with that, Rich? Perfect.
And you can just leave it until close, so it's really like a heart-gripping story. Do you feel like after you've established this shot, it would just be a tight close-up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll put these pictures up for, what would you say, about 5 seconds?
Yeah, about 5
5
seconds.
seconds up. Once this comes down, we'll go back to.
Yeah, and then I'll just close in prayer
Richard?
from there.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. And you're going to be ending.
So the way I'll end is I'll just pray that for boldness, and then an invitation. And then there's a specific way for you to edit and cut online, and then this. So what is that? Forget.
So you could go prayer. As soon as the prayer is done, you can.
Oh yeah. Is there a slide that says
CFMiami.org/connect.
yes?
Do you have one of those?
It's a lower third. I think we usually do a lower third.
No, right? Is there a slide at the end that says CFMiami.org/connect?
Yeah, just as a, so as I close, and then you want me to mention that slide?
Yeah.
Yeah, mention that slide, and then
From there, like,
you said there should be a pause.
however you feel it out from there, whatever you want to end with, end it there, and then give me like a 2-second pause, and then welcome the host up.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that way online doesn't get, okay, we're going to call the host up now to end blah, blah, blah.
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
You want to run through that moment really quickly?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll pray, and then we'll say, well, Christ Fellowship, let's give it up for those who prayed that prayer. And listen, if that's you, whatever, online or at any of our campuses, would you let us know that you prayed to receive Christ? Let us know by going online at cfmiami.org/connect, and let us know about the decision that you have made. Well, hey, Christ Fellowship, we're going to call that campus pastor and our hosts up, and then I'll dismiss from there. Or I'll say,
So maybe
more time?
Not more time. Just give me like a good ender for online. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like love you
Let's
all.
see.
Thank you.
Oh,
Now
okay.
we call up all the
Yeah. So it's almost like two dismiss. Well, kind of two dismiss.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, let me see. See if.
And if you're not feeling it in the moment, like it's all good, bro.
Okay.
You just end it the best way you can. Just try if you can, but
Yeah. I'll think of something.
so as soon as the keys come out, you're gonna go straight into right.
So
Yeah, let's do that.
So you want that roll out at the beginning of the sermon?
yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it needs to be covered.
Covered?
No,
No?
I don't think it
Okay.
needs to be covered.
All right.
Where in your sermon is this gonna be?
In the beginning.
Oh, in the
Going to run
beginning?
through it. So 10.
Is it going to stay there the rest of the sermon?
I mean, I'm not going to reference it after the opener.
You don't have a video or anything that we can like
I'm going to just toss it.
No. Oh, if you
Kick
toss
it.
I want
Kick
you to
the.
like that, and I will catch it over there
Yeah.
in the corner.
Yeah, I'm not going to reference. Is it going to be in the way?
No, I don't think so. It's a small table.
Like,
You cannot even see it. You see? On the screen.
okay, yeah. So like if you put up one of those slides up that's full screen, maybe like a quote, you won't see it, right? Yeah, I don't think you can see it. Gabe. What do you want to do?
The handset. Just remove it from the phone.
Remove,
Unhook it. Like
unhook
that.
it. Oh, take it off?
No, just put it on the table. On the table. On the table. On the table.
And you won't see
You
it.
won't see it at all.
So that when I make sure I
Just leave it there.
Like
Yes,
that.
and that way you don't see it.
what's up, bro?
Almost at all, right?
Some OCD person in the audience is gonna be like,
That's
you
true.
didn't
Yeah. Then just
unless you do this a little bit further.
Let me just have you scoot over that way. I don't even see it. We can move it right here. That'd be perfect.
like forward. There. Okay.
I'm fine with it, yeah.
So you're ending.
So
Try
my-
to give us like 2 endings, but other than that, you're good to go. Okay?
okay.
Let's stand by.
In real life.
Spanish. Before you
Okay.
leave really quickly, I just wanted to just
Yeah,
make
let's.
sure
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
refreshed.
Okay. Show me how it goes.
So at 10 seconds, 10 seconds you're here. As soon as it gets 5 seconds, you're walking. And then once you get right here, you can walk. Boom, I go through here already. Are you Lauren drops the bistro? Are you using the van? Thank you. Blah, blah. Here.
Okay. Could at what point is my mic unmuted?
Once you pass that table.
Once I pass
it's
that
around
table.
2 seconds.
Okay.
If you go at 10 seconds, you'll reach that at 2 seconds.
Okay.
Anything after that tape is fair game.
Okay. And then right over here. Okay.
Oh, David. Hey, David. Yes. Can you just do me a favor, bro? Yeah. 2 things. One, if you could just remind Jonah, who's standing right over here, that at around this moment to be kind of like mellow, or like how would you want that moment?
I think it's my first LED wall thing. It is, right? Nah, bro. But teaching. Oh, let me take this. Out of luck. Never. Can you imagine if I do that? There it is, right there.
Hey, David, so for sure for Spanish and English, just 3 singers? So just 3 singers? Both services?
Your sister what? Canceled? Canceled? Oh, she's here? So the Spirit of God is here. Got it. Spirit, lead me where my trust.
All right, let's go ahead and mic check to your first.
Check. So I may or may, I'm just going to try to not scream at all because I'm not trying to lose my voice again. I just got my voice back as best as I can. Segunda de Reyes, capítulo 7, versículo 9 dice, entonces se dijeron el uno al otro, no estamos haciendo bien. Hoy es día de buenas nuevas, pero nosotros estamos callados. Y si esperamos hasta la luz de la mañana, nos vendrá castigo. Vamos pues ahora y entremos a dar la noticia a la casa del rey. One more, Chris? Let me get a bigger verse to read. There we go. Go ahead. All right. Segunda de Reyes 7, capítulo 7, 3 al 7 dice, había 4 leprosos a la entrada de la puerta y se dijeron el uno a otro, ¿por qué estamos aquí sentados esperando la muerte? Si decimos vamos a entrar en la ciudad como el hambre está en la ciudad, moriremos ahí. Y si nos sentamos aquí, también moriremos. Ahora pues vayamos y pasemos al campamento de los arameos. Y si nos perdonan la vida, viviremos. Y si nos matan, pues moriremos. Los leprosos se levantaron al anochecer para ir al campamento de los arameos. Y cuando llegaron a las afueras del campamento de los arameos, resultó que no había nadie ahí. Porque el Señor, alguien diga el Señor. Yeah, I have to make sure I don't raise my voice at all. I already feel it cracking. Había hecho que el ejército de los arameos oyera destruyendo, porque el Señor había hecho que el ejército de los arameos oyera estruendo de carros y ruidos de caballos, el estruendo de un gran ejército, de modo que se dijeron el uno a otro, ciertamente el rey de Israel ha tomado a suelo contra nosotros a los reyes de los hititas y a los reyes de los egipcios, para que vengan contra nosotros. Por lo cual se levantaron y huyeron al anochecer y abandonaron sus tiendas, sus caballos, sus asnos y el campamento tal como estaba, y huyeron para salvar sus vidas. Please tell me you're good. Point number A. Letter number A. No nos importa lo suficiente porque estamos distraídos. LED wall. Oh, come on, people. Nope, that's not it. It's here. These were my notes that were submitted. That should be in Spanish. That needs to be in Spanish. I have it in my notes. So after the LED wall, it's point number 2. Comprende el poder. And then it's a huge passage. Yeah, 3 through 7. Do I have to read all of this? Oh, my Lord, it's so long. All right. This is the one I read during he was doing the sound check. All right. Are you looking at it then? So I can just read? Oh, okay. Había 4 leprosos a la entrada de la puerta. I'm going to read with no emphasis. I'm just going to read, all right? Había 4 leprosos a la entrada de la puerta y se dijeron el uno a otro, ¿por qué estamos aquí sentados esperando a la muerte? Si decimos vamos a entrar en la ciudad, como el hambre está en la ciudad, moriremos ahí. Si nos sentamos aquí, también moriremos. Ahora pues vayamos y pasemos al campamento de los arameos. Si nos perdonan la vida, viviremos. Y si nos matan, pues moriremos. Los leprosos se levantaron al anochecer para ir al campamento de los arameos. Y cuando llegaron a las afueras del campamento de los arameos, resultó que no había nadie. Porque el Señor, alguien diga el Señor, había hecho que el ejército de los arameos oyera estruendo de carros y ruido de caballos, el estruendo de un gran ejército, de modo que se dijeron el uno a otro, ciertamente el rey de Israel ha tomado a sueldo contra nosotros a los reyes de los hititas y a los reyes de los egipcios, para que vengan contra nosotros. Por lo cual se levantaron y huyeron al anochecer y abandonaron sus tiendas, sus caballos, sus asnos y el campamento tal como estaba, y huyeron para salvar sus vidas. Wow.
Keep running through. She'll be there with you.
Okay, then it should be letter A. Tenemos miedo al rechazo. Letter B, tenemos miedo de no tener lo que se necesita. Whoa, are those spaces normal? Yeah? Oh, okay, it just looked weird. Yeah, my bad, you're right. And then tenemos miedo de no tener lo que se necesita. And then Hechos 4:13, al ver la confianza de Pedro y de Juan y dándose cuenta de que eran hombres sin letras y sin preparación, se maravillaban y reconocían que ellos habían estado con Jesús. Segunda de Corintios 12:9 dice que él me ha dicho, te basta mi gracia, pues mi poder se perfecciona en la debilidad. Por tanto, con muchísimo gusto me gloriaré más bien en mis debilidades, para que el poder de Cristo more en mí. Romanos 1:16, porque no me avergüenzo del evangelio, pues es el poder de Dios para la salvación de todo el que cree. Right? Yep. Ellipsis. Good job. And point number 3, comprende las buenas nuevas. Segunda de Reyes. Yep. Segunda de Reyes 7:8. Yep. Cuando los leprosos llegaron a las afueras del campamento, entraron en una tienda y comieron y bebieron, y se llevaron de ahí plata y oro y ropas, y fueron y lo escondieron, y volvieron y entraron en otra tienda de ahí también, y se llevaron botín, y fueron y lo escondieron. Entonces se dijeron uno al otro, no, hold on, let me, just for my sake, this is for me, I should be bold, yep. No estamos haciendo bien. Hoy es día de buenas nuevas, pero nosotros, sorry, Rach, this should have been bold, I don't know what happened. Hoy es día de buenas nuevas, pero nosotros estamos callados. Si esperamos hasta la luz de la mañana, nos vendrá castigo. Vamos pues ahora y entremos a dar la noticia a la casa del rey. And then it should be A, haz pública tu fe. Yep. Then it should be B, comparte tu historia. I didn't have it, nor did I underline anything, because I didn't, yeah. And then C, comparte el evangelio. Yep. And then it should be my closing illustration. I'm talking about my grandpa. Ah, my boy. So let me see.
So you notice how they're to the left a little bit?
Yeah, I'll stand over here.
So your spot is right actually, it's marked off in the blue.
Okay.
So whenever you want to talk about them, you can literally just keep your chest open towards
So to the camera.
And you
Which one will be on? Main?
It's probably going to be one of the ones in the center.
Okay.
Or if not, you can just see which one has the red light on. Go ahead, Rachel. Say that one more time.
Oh, but I can look that way, right? Instead of looking this way?
I want you to kind of like
Do you want me to look there or you want me to look here?
Kind of want you to use that
As the reference, but
reference.
don't
Okay.
look
Back, because when you look back, you're going to want to turn
I
your
want
back.
them to think I'm looking at this one, but I'm looking as that one.
Correct. You're just
Gotcha.
using that one, so you're like,
Gotcha.
like that type of.
Easy peasy. Are those the two that we have?
Yeah, two.
Okay, perfect.
Walk through the transitions, how you're going to bring that up and stuff like that. We're going to walk through the.
Look at my boy. He's so cute. Sorry. So I'll talk. The last thing I say is, oh shoot, hold on. I say comparte el evangelio, and I just shared, I explained to them what the gospel is, and then I want to end with this last story, and it's about my grandpa. We call him Pop. Boom. Yeah, this is my grandpa and my grandma, and actually these are my wife's parents, my wife's grandparents, but I consider them my very own. I lived with them for a couple years. They were helping me save before we got married, and they've been grandparents to me, whatever. And oh God, I gotta get it all out now. And then I'll talk about, and one of the beautiful things, and I'm so grateful that my son was able to, meet my grandfather, and then I'll start to talk about him, and then when I turn around and I move, you can take it off. And then I'll finish that story. And how that story is pretty much that, every time we would go anywhere, he always had these little tracks. Oh, is the track picture there? Did they do that? Oh, actually, poop. Hold on a second. I do talk about the long signs. Do you guys have that for van? Or
The signs, yes, we
yeah.
have those.
Okay.
Do you want those to be dropped? Where do you want
Yeah. When letter A, haz pública tu fe, because I can have it here,
After
and I can use a prop that way.
No, we can drop those for you. After or before that?
After letter A, haz pública de tu fe, it's right after that. I talk about baptism is obviously the next step of salvation, like after salvation. And then and then two simple ways that you can make your faith public is by using, I talk about the lawn sign and the
You
magnet.
actually have a book.
Yeah, that's the, that should be after, oh, it is there. You see? Nope. So I do, and that one's in Spanish, so use that one. It's exactly the right one. Yep, because I did have that.
this one will
That's
be
after letter A.
Okay.
And then when I'm talking about my pop, it's that picture,
Yeah, those are at the
that
end.
picture.
Oh, so you want this book to go after?
Yeah, I will talk about him. You take off that picture of him.
All the way at the end.
And then and the reason why we would, if we were to get Cuban coffee, I talk about nos fuimos a comer cafecito, whatever, and the reason it would take forever is because my grandfather always had these little tracks in his pocket, and they look like this. Boom. What does that one say? Donde pasarás la eternidad? Yeah.
These little what?
That means where will you spend eternity? He always had tracks in his pocket, and a trip that was supposed to be 10 minutes long, it was an hour long because he was witnessing to everybody. Like the man's a G. Te invito. Beep, 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 beep. Cool.
So both this one and the picture over goes after point A, right?
This picture right here on screen is after point A, haz pública tu fe,
And what about the next one?
which is the next one.
What's the next picture? Can you go to the second one that you?
It should be my pop. The next picture should be pop.
Had the yard signs. What was the one after that?
No, I don't. I'm not saying anything about that.
Not using this.
Nope, I didn't ask for that.
Okay, you can go ahead and delete this last one.
I didn't ask for any of that.
I have a time clock plus.
Para obtener más recursos, visita. I mean, that's cool. I think they should use that for the host after, if they want. Huh? Oh, okay, yeah. Then that's not for me though. I'm not gonna mention that at all. Yep.
For sure, this one is going after point A. and
Point A,
there is-
like almost
There's another picture after the
point C.
baptism of his grandpa. That one's gonna get a book right after that part. So after we take that picture down of Lucas and the grandparents, then you go straight to the
leave it until I talk about it. I talk about tratados, and then. I feel like we were just in this room.
Okay, so now you're ending. Actually,
Is Van doing an altar call?
what?
Van doing an altar call?
Yeah, he's doing an invitation.
Invitation. Cool. I'll do. Oh, what up, Carlos? What up, play it?
For your ending, when do you want the keys to come out? Blah blah blah.
Yeah, there he goes. I know it looks a little pixelated, but it works perfect.
So he's gonna. So we'll have a list of grandparents. Once he mentions this, then
Yeah, I'll say the word tratados. And then siempre tenía estos tratados en el bolsillo. Que tenía esta pregunta, ¿dónde pasarás la eternidad?
So when would you want?
Keys should come out. I literally fly through ABC. Like it's pretty fast. So, but I think he should come out at B and play at C.
Okay.
Yep, there you go. That's a good. What did Van have? Something similar? Yep. Come out at B and start playing at C. Like immediately when I say C, start, because then I'll set the space. Set the space up.
You got it.
I love the
How are
iPad, bro.
How are you ending?
Altar call. Invitation.
And what about the last ending for like you send out?
Oh, I'll just, in Jesus' name we pray, amen. Man, if you made a decision, please make sure that you fill a connection card. We want to celebrate with you. If you need more resources on how to share.
You want a link?
Huh?
Connect out? CF Miami.
You don't have to, if you want to. You want me to say it?
Are you gonna say it?
If it's there.
CF Miami.
Puedes mandar un mensaje de texto al 31 31 31.
Connect out.
Te puedes conectar.
.es/connect out.
Oh,
No. Yeah.
no, bro, forget that. I'm not going to remember that.
Now, how about your ending before you bring up, like right before you call the host? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
so
the-
it'll just be like, man, if you made the decision, man, we would love, please fill out a connection card. And if you need more resources, on how to share your faith, we'll be able to hear that in just a moment from our Spanish leaders, right? Our leaders. So in this moment, I'm going to actually call at all of our campuses our Spanish leaders to come up. Obviously, I'm going to say nuestros líderes, por favor, del servicio, que vengan hacia adelante, que Dios les amo y que Dios me los bendiga. Freeze, boom.
If there is any way that right when you end on Spanish leaders,
You're asking so much, man.
right before you say Spanish leaders, I want you to kind of like give me like two endings. If you just think about it, so you're ending Spanish leaders.
Do you want to do it?
Now I'm gonna call out the that way I don't have you calling out the host for the online when they're gonna go to video.
Wait, say that again.
So you end up the Spanish leaders, and now I'm gonna go ahead and call out the host and out the service. Let the pastor go back.
Wait, say that one more time.
So however you're ending, right before you say, I'm gonna call up the host. That sentence right before that, try to give me like a mini ending right there. Da-da-da. Now I'm gonna go ahead and
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, to break it up. So if you made that decision, we're going to ask that you please fill out that card. And if you need more resources on how to share your faith, you'll be able to hear that from one of our hosts. Well, now in this moment, like that? Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, that's for online. Got you. Okay, cool.
And if for some reason that it doesn't work, we can still use the ending of yours. The full ending, okay? Need anything else from us?
No,
All right. Well,
that's it.
forgot you.
I'm actually going to my
We're good.
office.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, guys. Can I take this off or no?
God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Every stronghold will crumble. I hear the chains hit the ground. Oh God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Come awaken your people. Come awaken the city. Oh God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Every stronghold will crumble. Yeah, I hear the chains hit the ground. Oh God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Come awaken your people. Come awaken your city. Oh God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Every stronghold will crumble. I hear the chains hit the ground. Oh God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Come awaken your people. Come awaken the city. Oh God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Every stronghold will crumble. Chains hit the ground. Oh God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Ven, despierta tu pueblo. Ven, despierta tu gente. Dios de avivamiento, llena hoy, llena hoy. Fortalezas se rompen, las cadenas se caen. Dios de avivamiento, llena hoy, llena hoy. Ven, despierta tu pueblo, ven, despierta tu gente. Dios de avivamiento, llena hoy, llena hoy. Fortalezas se rompen, las cadenas se caen. Dios de avivamiento, llena